y'all, it's Amy from SeeAmyDraw. Welcome back. I'm doing another tutorial today, a little doodle video. Halloween doodles. I let my Patreons vote on what we were going to do. So they wanted to do some Halloween doodles, which I was totally down with because I've been in a very much Halloweeny mood. So that's what we're going to do today. I've got a little pumpkin. Look, a cute little face. I might fix it a little bit. A little ghosty skull, witch's hat, and then this is a tomb, and of course a candy, because what's Halloween without some candy? And then I was going to do like a little spooky planner or something, and instead I decided to see if we could draw Book from Hocus Pocus together, and I think I simplified him enough to where it wouldn't be too difficult. So that's what we're going to do. We will start with our little pumpkin. So I have just these, I've shown them before and I'll show them again. I use these loose sheets of Tomoe River paper, A5 size paper, just because it's what I'm usually drawing on in my Hobonichi cousin. And so yeah, that's just really just what I use. And I've been using it for a while for these videos and some other stuff, so I figured why not. And then I also have this is the Paper Mate mechanical pencil. It's just like a 0.7 millimeter lead. I use a different type of lead, these Pilot color leads, just because I like the color. It's cute. I don't typically color these pages. I don't know why. But it's a little pop of color I think is really cute. And then today I figured I try to do these videos. I don't want to use anything that's like outside of somebody's ability to just like grab at the house. But I found this uni pen, just like fine liner pen. So that's what we're going to use. And it's the 03. I don't typically use like super thin line markers, but that's what we're going to go with today. All right, so we're going to start with this little pumpkin. He's so cute. And the pumpkin is very similar to like if you've ever drawn an apple. It's like just like a stretched out apple, in my opinion at least. So we're just going to start with this base shape here, and then we'll add all the little details. So for the most part, you know, when you're drawing, I'm going to start with this little dip here, is everything is just like a combination of shapes, and it's just how you kind of put them together. But this is like a weird kind of like, I want to call it an S curve. It's like a like a wavy line. And then I'm going to come down. You can make your pumpkin taller, you can make it shorter, you can make it wider, however which way you want to do it. And then it's almost like a bean shape on these two sides. And you're not going to connect them yet, because in the middle, it's going to have like another little dip here that comes down. And then we'll draw the stem. So I like to start with just a little circle. And if you can't see the pencil line, that's okay. I'm going to go over it in my pen as soon as I'm done drawing it. And then we just kind of do these little curved lines to come down to complete the stem. And now we're just going to draw these little, like the back of the pumpkin, just like these little humps shapes. And then let's do his face. So I did just like a little cutesy little very basic face. So it's like this rounded triangle, and we're going to draw two of those for his eyes. And then I just did like a basic little smile in between those. And then that is it. Let's go over it with our pen so we can see it a little better. And then I just like to just pick a place to start. There we go. I can't remember. My kids have gotten to the point where they're a little too old to be like carving pumpkins and stuff. And so he's a little wonky, but that's okay. Most of the ones at the grocery store are. But yeah, I used to love carving pumpkins with my kids. I would get super extra about it, if you could imagine, and do some really fun stuff. So I'm going to darken in his eyes here, just some lines. And that's, well, it's almost it. But yeah, now they're getting a little too old. We tried like, you know those, I think you can get them at like, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them at Target. They're like the little plastic sets. You can just like buy a pumpkin and just like stab the arms into the sides and then like the face or whatever. We did that one year and it was like kind of weird, but they're still pretty cute. All right, there's our little pumpkin. I like to go in and do little details. If you want, because you know how the pumpkin has like these, I don't know, it's like a curved shape. Like it's, I don't know how to describe it, but if you wanted to draw like the lines there, you could. I don't like to do too much detail, but man, you think I would have prepared a little bit better. Okay. Anyways, let's color in this down. There's our pumpkin. He's all done. He's so cute. He's a little crooked, but that's okay. Most of my pumpkins have looked crooked. So I'm going to show you a fairly easy way to draw a ghost. I didn't do it when I did this sketch, but as I was doing it, I realized, hey, I should have done this little method, but I didn't. Usually when I draw a ghost, I like to draw like a circle. And the circle is going to kind of determine where the top part of the ghost is, obviously. So now a ghost is a pretty simple shape, like, you know, it's just like an upside down U with however you want the sheet to look at the bottom. But this way you kind of know where you're going. So here's the top part of my ghost. I want his little tail, like his little the sheet to come out. So it kind of looks like he's moving in a direction. So this is kind of like that curve helps indicate that. So I'm going to come up, I'm going to come down. And then I'm going to go on the other side, and where my circle just kind of comes to the bottom, I just start curving it around. And then we're just going to do a pretty basic, like a scallop type design here, or yeah. And then you just erase the bottom part of the circle, and then you have your little ghost. And if you want to, you can go back and kind of like emphasize some of the curves to give it a little bit more of like action and flow. Stretch some things out a little bit. You don't have to get too crazy. This is just pencil, so we're gonna go over it. And then wherever you draw the eyes, that kind of helps show like where he's looking. So I have him looking towards our little ghost buddy because he's like, what are you doing? Can I come hang out? So there it is. And that's our ghost. Super simple, super easy. And we're gonna go over him with our pen. I move my paper a lot just because, I mean, I normally do when I'm drawing anyways. And especially like on my iPad and stuff, I always move the canvas around just because it helps me, but so sorry if it might drive you crazy. And then we're going to draw his little eyes here. I like to keep them kind of close together because it kind of adds to the cuteness, and I keep them nice and long and ovally shaped. You can do all sorts of different shapes of eyes, and then I just do these little detail lines just for fun. And now it helps also kind of emphasize the curve in the design of the sheet. So there's our little ghost. We've got our pumpkin, our ghost. We're going to move on now to our little skull head. I feel like every single time I draw a skull, though, it always turns out a little bit different, but the basics are pretty much the same. You have this like half circle kind of shape here with this scallop pattern down at the bottom, like the mouth part. Obviously this is very cartoony, it's not very realistic at all. But yeah, so every single time I draw it, I feel like it looks different. And also as I was drawing this one and then the skull, I realized there's a lot of scallop patterns in like Halloween doodles. All right, so I'm going to start down here with the occipital bone. I only know what that's called because I actually have a cosmetology, or I have a cosmetology degree. I don't have a license to practice, but you have to know where you know, the occipital bone was like a big thing we talked about when doing haircuts and stuff. So I just go from there. I'm going to go up and around. I keep it a little bit boxy shaped. Like I said, every single time I draw a skull, I swear it looks different. And then where it comes back to this side, I just do this like little scallop pattern here. I'm going to go up a little bit, and that's it. That is it. You can draw a space. So let's draw two big old eye holes here. And then if you want to draw his little nostrils, they're just like little tinier oval shapes, and he's done. These ones are really simple. That's why I kind of wanted to do something a little bit more complex with our with doing book. I drew him last year for Halloween, and he is so cute. I love how it turned out, and I was really just trying to see if I could like do it simple enough to where we could do it together. And honestly, I think this is about as simple as it gets. I think a lot of people get intimidated by like doodling, but it's really just easy once you figure out how to break everything down into more basic shapes, and you know, practice obviously, and you become more confident and it becomes more fun. So there's our skull. I'm gonna add my little detail lines here, and his eyes are a little wonky, but that's okay. We're just having fun today. He looks sad. That's okay. All right, and Halloween is not Halloween without candy. So we're just gonna draw a little candy piece. And honestly, with doing this one, changing the shape of this part here will change basically what kind of candy it is. So you can do like a circle shape, you can do more of a square. I chose to go with my favorite shape, a rounded rectangle. If you watched my Taste Made live stream, that was a few months ago. I can't believe that was still this year. I said the word rounded rectangle so many times, I thought I was gonna lose my mind. But I'm gonna start with this rounded rectangle, and then I'm going to, on both sides, I'm gonna add another smaller rounded rectangle. So that kind of shows where like the candy, the wrapper is like twisted. And then we're just gonna do these like little wavy looking ends here, and that is it. You can add a little detail, like if you have a favorite candy, wrapped candy, you could write the name on there. I'm just gonna draw these little lines and grab my pen. I don't know what my favorite Halloween candy is, but I was about to say, I know my favorite Starburst. If you know me, I love yellow Starburst. And I swear, there are a lot more people, actually, I will say, that love yellow Starburst than I think most really understand that exist. I've been surprised. But last year, my kids went trick-or-treating, and they brought back these Skittles, and they were like these Halloween Skittles, and I hadn't heard of them. They were so good, and I may or may have taken my fair share of them from their bags when they were at school, because that is my right as their mother. No, I'm just kidding. But I tried to find them online, and it was like one of those things where I could only find them on Amazon. They were like $1 million because it was Halloween, like special Halloween candy. So if you're out getting candy for Halloween, look out for the Halloween Skittles. They are so, so good. And like, don't even get a bag to hand out. Just get a bag to keep for yourself if you're a big Skittles fan. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to do. And hide them from my husband and my kids. All right. It looks so cute. I like to draw the little details, the line details on the little, what do you call it? We'll call it a cinch there. Just kind of coming out a little bit. So it kind of emphasizes that, like how it's wrapped. But there's our candy. We are moving right along. Very nice and quickly. But yeah, let's do the witch's hat first, because that one's another easy one, and then maybe we'll do book last. So we'll save the hardest one for last. I'm gonna try actually to widen this brim a little bit. So for the brim of the hat, just kind of like when we did in our beach tutorial, when we drew the beach hat, it's the same idea. So you're just gonna have like this S curve here that goes around, and you can make it wider, you can make it however which way you want to. It's your witch's hat. And then we're going to just, instead of doing that like circle, half circle shape that we did on the beach hat, this is more of like a cutesy witch's hat. We're just gonna do like a lopsided triangle that will come down here. And then I'm gonna add this little band. You can also add like a buckle if you want to. That is basically just one rectangle with another one inside of it. But I'm gonna just keep it simple. And that's it. I feel like I chose some fairly easy doodles to do. Here, I'm gonna add a little, like, because this is a pretty big space. I'm gonna draw a little candy corn. I do not like candy corn. My kids love candy corn, but I just think candy corn is like one of the prettiest candies. I think just like the colors. I love orange and yellow together, and it's just such a pretty candy. I love that they love it because I can put it in our little Halloween candy dish, and it adds like a little extra Halloween flair to our kitchen and stuff, but then they go through it. So I have to be careful about how much I leave out. But yeah, I've tried it, and it's like one of those things, it's like oatmeal. I tried to see if like my palette has changed and maybe like, oh yeah, maybe I'll like it now. Still, so far, no. I will try it again, probably this Halloween. All right, and then I'm gonna add some lines here, just color in the belt on this hat. And the witch's hat is done. I really feel like I kept everything fairly simple because of book, but book is going to be really easy and it's gonna be a lot of fun to draw, so just prepare yourself. Let's do this little tomb next. This is let me see, 1 2 3 4, it's a hexagon, but you see like the top part of it is going to be fairly same in length, going up, over, and then down, and then this part is just like elongated, and then this one is going to be a little bit shorter. And let's see, we'll start with the top here and come down. This is like super fun and super easy. I love doing these as like little details in like for like smaller spaces because it is such a simple design. All of these pretty much are. So yeah, and then we're just gonna repeat the same pattern on the inside of the shape. You can follow it exactly. You can make it a little bit more wonky. I feel like when things are a little bit more wonky looking, they look more like hand-drawn. Next, we're gonna do our spider web here. So I'm just gonna do 2 lines that kind of come out. And then you just basically do scallops. So scallops, that's the shape for the day. So I like to just do like 2 rows there. And then we're gonna draw a little spider guy down here. So I like to just give him one, like a big fat body, the little head, and then his 4 little legs. That's okay, yeah. Like 1 2 3 4, yeah. And now we're gonna just draw the back side of the tomb by just coming down at this top corner here. This one, or this middle section here. Oops, sorry, my camera's shaking a little bit. And then we're kind of gonna kind of going to go up a little bit there. And then you just connect all the lines. It's like connect the dots. Super simple, super easy. Oh, we forgot to draw in our candy corn, so let's start there. All right. I think this might be what, yeah, this is waterproof, so I could color this in. I might color it in, and then I can share that with y'all on Patreon. If you're a Patreon member, thank you so much for being here and for being on Patreon. I do love it. August was kind of a mess for me personally, just because work was so crazy. We had an event. It was actually supposed to take place tomorrow, but the weather's been so hot here and it's so unbearable. And it was like a barbecue fundraiser, so we're gonna have all these people outside grilling for hours in the afternoon. We're just like, you know, we really can't do that, like, you know, risk the safety of others. just for an event. So we did postpone it, which I think was a great decision. So yeah, I had been planning that and doing all that for it this month and trying my best to stay a little as active as I could in Patreon. I did get the Happy Mail. If you're an IRL dude, what's up? The last ones are getting dropped off today. So I got a little behind there, but now that all of that is kind of like over, I get a little bit of a break before more chaos hits. I've got some things I got to do, but everything will get done in due time. So I'm not so worried, especially now that I have a break. I'm going to add a line in between here just to kind of show that this coffin, did I call it a tomb earlier? I did. Coffin opens. Anyways, there's that, and it's done, and it's cute. And now we're going on to book. This one, I don't think I'm really going to describe before we get started. So we're just going to get started. I'm actually going to, let's see, we're going to start with the biggest shape, which is going to be this rounded rectangle here. So let's do that. We're going to start actually with this front one, because just like how we did the tomb, the back part of the book is just going to follow what the front, where the front is. So let's do that. So back to rounded rectangles. I'm going to try and take up this whole space. Not all of it, but most of it, yes. All right, so there's our first rectangle. This next one, we're going to kind of go a little diagonal here. And again, this one actually turned out a little bit wonky, but he's still so cute because you still know what it is as long as you have like the main parts. So I just go all the way around, and then at this corner I go up a little bit, and there is the base of book. I think I have like, I'm wearing, what are they called? Shorteralls? They're not really called that, I don't think. Maybe they are. Overalls, but they're shorts. And I had like a receipt in my front pocket. I was like, where is that sound coming from? Okay, anyways. Now let's do the inside. So we're just gonna draw a line here. We don't really have to like draw on our pages too much, because we can fill in those details when we do the pen. So the next part we're going to do is, I feel like what would be the most intimidating part, maybe the snakes are, but this eye, his eye, he's got like a lazy looking eye because he always looks like he's so sleepy. Sorry, my mom is getting ready. My mom is gonna go pick up Abby from school, so I was like, can I get this video done in time? I'm usually at the office in the afternoons, but I'm here today because the event got canceled. So anyways, so for the eye, I just do, his eyelid is just a big half circle, and then there's two little circles kind of coming under that. So this circle here, which is the white part of the eye, we're not exactly going to go all the way to the edge of the lid. And then we're going to draw his little pupil here, and then I'm going to draw a little circle inside of that, so I know to keep that little white space right there when I'm coloring it in. Now for the next part, we're going to do the buckle, which we're just going to follow along the shape here that closes the book. So these two lines are just going to come out this way, and then as it goes across the back of the book, we're going to kind of go up like this. And I like to have the buckle kind of go past the back of the book, so it kind of shows that it is kind of like fixed to the back side of it. Anyways, let's do the binding here. As I was drawing it, I was doing it mostly from like memory. I remembered the snakes because I remember drawing those last year, but I couldn't remember what was on the binding. So I'm just gonna do these like kind of weird little shapes here. Yeah, I should have looked it up. I apologize if I offend anyone. So there's that, and then we're gonna do these like scars that have these stitches on it. You can go in any kind of fun little wavy direction that you want, but these will go from the buckle all the way to the corners of the book, of book, not the book. Well, he is the book. And then we're just gonna draw some like stitches here. I didn't go too crazy because, like I said, I was trying to keep this very simplified because I didn't want anyone to get overwhelmed by just getting too detailed, and I hope that's the case so far. All right, the last part we're going to draw is going to be the little snakes that are in the corners. They actually, I think there's 2 loops in them, but we're just going to do one. So, like I said, simple. So for the head of the shape, I'm going to draw the base of it first, which is kind of like this open, like oval shape. And then I'm going to draw like a rounded triangle to indicate his mouth. And then for his body, I'm going to draw this big one here first, and then the little one will kind of follow along. So he'll go kind of out and up, and he kind of crosses over. So his tail, which will come out here, just kind of goes this way, which I think, again, I'm pretty sure it is a different pattern. I know it's a different pattern on book, but like I said 1,000 times, I just want to keep it simple. And then we're just going to draw little eyes on the bigger part of his head. We're going to do the same thing for this top corner. If you're more comfortable drawing the snake upside down just because you did it once this way, then you can turn your page and do that again. Or if you want to try to draw it the other direction, you can do that too. I'm going to just turn my page. So we started with the base, which is the head. And don't worry about this being like absolutely perfect or absolutely identical. I feel like when you try to focus too much on details when you're learning, especially, you kind of get lost in it all. So just try to have fun. Focus on just like what you're doing, the task at hand. And then like once you get more comfortable, obviously you start working in the more details, but you don't want to try to do something that's going to be too overwhelming or make things too difficult, because then it's not fun anymore. And we want to keep this fun. So we're done. We did it. We did it. I don't know why I said that so like nervously. We did it. Y'all, we did it. Okay, so let's go ahead and line him in. I'm going to start with his eye here, and I'm going to have his lid kind of come in just a little bit like that. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. We watched I think it was last year. Last year was the new one that came out. Hocus Pocus 2. I had my reservations because it's like Hocus Pocus, y'all. It's like a classic Halloween movie. And so I was went in with low expectations, but I really loved the movie. Like, I think there were a couple times where I actually cried. I cried during everything though. So like, that's me. And I thought it was really good. Let me know if y'all have seen it in the comments below if you liked it. I don't know if they're doing another one, but wait, it did seem like the ending. I do remember the ending. I need to watch it again. The ending seemed like there could be another one. So I hope so. I thought the characters were great. I thought all the actors were perfect for their roles. So I would not hate another Hocus Pocus movie, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I like how they kind of like made certain things modern. I think there's one scene where they go in to get the brooms and the one comes out with like a Swiffer or something. I can't remember. I gotta go back and watch it. And there's the back side of the book. We're gonna do binding next. And then these little shapes here. And now for the scars. And nothing has to follow exactly how you originally mapped it out. That's totally fine. Like I think I like those a little bit thinner. And I'm just gonna do this like little curvy cross looking pattern to be like the stitches. Now I think I'm gonna do the little snakes next. I'm gonna do his little face, his body. And And then for the details for the snakes, I'm gonna add some scales. And then let me get his eyes. And then I waited until I drew it in with the pen. I'm gonna add his tongue. So his tongue's really like simple and cute. It's just a Y with a very long stem. So there's that. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Now let's do the other one. I think this one's head was a little too small the first time I did it. So we'll make it a little bit bigger. And the scales. And now his tongue is gonna be a little shorter or else he'd be licking Book's eyeball. All right, and then you saw how we did, so we did the strap here goes over the book, so the pages, so these lines in here I'm not going to draw. And I'm just gonna draw some lines here as like a, the pages of book. And there we have it. We are all done. We did it. I'm gonna draw some little detail lines in here and it can be super official. I don't know why these aren't like, I don't intentionally put these little lines anywhere, but I keep looking at my reference to figure out where I should put it on this one. Anyways, I just like to go in and fill in space with some little stars, some little bursts, circles and things. I thought this one would be cute since it's all like Halloween theme. I did like a little crescent moon, and you can just do whatever you like. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you are from Patreon, thank you so much again for your support. It means the absolute world to me, and I just can't thank y'all enough. I hope y'all had a good time. If you do decide to do this, please post on socials, on the Instagrams, and either tag me if you want to, send me a DM of what you draw. I just love to see, I get so excited when people show me that they're actually doing these, because I put these things out in the world and I'm like, is anyone actually doing this? But if you're on Patreon, I will upload a digital version of this doodle page. You can print it out, you can color it, you can trace it to learn a little bit better or easier, however which way you like. And I will catch y'all next time. Thank y'all so much. Hope y'all have a great rest of your month, and I will see you in September. Bye.